Susie's having surgery on
I'm
Thursday.
having a knee replacement on Thursday.
Oh, good luck. There for you.
Thank you. And my birthday is Tuesday, so that's my birthday present, my new knee.
Oh,
I would have preferred a diamond or something, but you know.
Hey, your husband got off.
oh, really? Well, so you'll go for well, I can't say that. What are bones now? You'll have a titanium knee.
I have no clue what they're doing. As long as they make my knee better, that's all I care about.
Well, that's true. Where are you going to be?
Northwestern.
Northwestern. Okay.
Northwestern.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Northwestern is the best place to be.
With
that, I don't know. At this age, all the body parts fall apart, so wherever they can fix it.
Well,
you have a point.
I'm
You're
on
absolutely
an
right.
HMO, but I'm going to get on normal insurance. I got an
normal.
Well, normal is with Northwestern. When I lost the Illinois state insurance when Obamacare came in, then I got on some screwy HMO that you got to go in all these screwy hospitals and doctors. Yes. And that's not normal insurance because it's not with Northwestern.
Mm.
That's not ideal.
Keep your doctor, keep your plan.
There you are.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
There she
Shabbat
is.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
We
Shalom.
missed you.
Shabbat Shalom.
We were asking where you were.
I was where you can't go for me.
Oh, that's okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
We'll mention your name and you'll get a good seat.
That's right. That's right.
It's a very old joke. Extremely old.
Yep.
Oh, well. Patrick, we didn't get a little note from you.
The last couple times I've just let the conversation roll.
I think that's wonderful because I was wondering why we would get cut off at 6:15 when the service didn't start until at least 6:20. So that's 5 minutes more we could be talking. or some of us would talk, not everybody.
At some point I learn. It's a good thing.
But that's okay. It's a learning experience. Whatever. So.
Heading into a whole new learning experience here too. So.
Oh, I'm sure it's a lot of new folks.
New folks, new roles.
And
speaking of that.
Yes.
They are.
All right. Have a good one, all.
Have a great week.
Have a good week, Patrick. See you Tuesday.
Yes.
Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Ha, page 643. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. 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 Let's get our adrenaline going. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Nashira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hava Shir hallelujah, shir hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It is so extraordinarily wonderful to be here with all of you, to be together, to be singing, to be Hava Nashiraing and clapping, to be celebrating Shabbat. I got some news this week. So I'm going I'm going on Sunday to a retreat for rabbis. And I got news that one of the activities at this retreat is going to be what they're calling a God open mic. So I'm pausing for dramatic effect. A God open mic. And the idea of the God open mic, which I think to some people sounds like a grand time and to other people sounds like the worst possible torture. The idea of a God open mic is that people are just going to get up and talk about their ideas of God. And I honestly don't know if I'm going to participate and what the dynamic is going to be. But hearing about this God open mic has made me think about, in this last week, where did I experience God? And it's made me think about it and want to ask myself, how can I pay attention to where I'm experiencing God and know that I am experiencing God just through my everyday interactions? That I can get up in front of people and talk about God, not because I've gone and read the works of some wonderful philosopher, or because I've looked in the Torah or looked in the text, but because I've had a great conversation with my sister this week, or because I was having a hard time and somebody listened to me, or because I got to be here with all of you. And so tonight, as we go through Shabbat, I want you to be asking yourselves, what do you know about God? Where are you experiencing God? What does God even mean to you? So we're going to begin just by bringing in some light, and just by saying we see God through light and through the light that we bring out in each other. And somebody who brings out an incredible amount of light in our community is David Goodman, who has very kindly accepted to be our Shabbat candle lighter tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Shabbat Shalom. We are on page 123, and we take a moment to say there is so much incredible sweetness in our lives, in our weeks, in Shabbat, and we bless the sweetness of wine or of juice. So we are on page 123, and we invite you to rise in body or in spirit as we say the blessing over the wine.
Can I pull an audible?
Yes.
Just because I only have a couple of Shabbatot left. And this may be some of my few opportunities. Nathan, you will have other opportunities to do Kiddush, but you and I doing Kiddush together, it's not going to happen so easily. How did you know? Because I looked at you. We're at a point now, all we need to do is just look at each other. We're like an old married couple. Yeah. I love it. Okay, so you ready? Mm-hmm.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava ratzon hinghilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit Ki hu yom tehila lemikraye kodesh zeher litziat Mitzrayim ki vanu veharta votanu kedashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodsha v'yava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. Oh, rebel!
It's very sweet.
I know.
That was for Rabbi Conover.
For all the times they don't.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you,
Yasher
Nathan.
koach. Please be seated. We are on a page for Lecha Dodi.
We'll talk.
We're on page 138 for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi reminds us about how beloved the people around us are and can be, and how we have to see the belovedness in each other. But sometimes we need Shabbat, sometimes we need that rest and that space to be able to feel and appreciate all of that belovedness.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikavela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmiyanu el hamyuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shemu tiferet v'litila Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Pnei Shabbat nikavela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha Ki mekor ha'beracha Merosh mikelem natzucha Sof ma'aseh b'machashava tchila Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Hitoreri, hitoreri Ki va'orech kumi ori Shidaberi Kevod Adonai alayach nigla Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela.
We rise and face the entrance to greet Shabbat like Shabbat is a bride.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala Gam b'simcha u'tzola Toch emunei am segula Boi chala Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela Lecha dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nikavela.
Please be seated. I think this is kind of the
This is a crazy one.
The party version of
It's
Shalom
the party.
Aleichem.
It's the party way to invite angels into your space. You think that you have to invite them gently, but that's not true. They want to know there's a party going on, and then they arrive, okay? So this version is a Sol Zim setting. It just happens to have been, I don't know why, but it was my father's very, very favorite Shalom Aleichem, and I dare say it might have been his favorite prayer that he did at services. So you better clap, you better dance inside, you better sing. You ready?
Shalom Alechem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 lai. Barchuni l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem l'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mimelech, Mimelech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 lai. We rise in body and in spirit as we turn to page 152 for the Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 lai. We're on page 146. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. We take a deep breath as we turn to Shema on page 152. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'b'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shochbecha u'pumecha u'kshartam leot al yaldecha v'hayu l'totafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha L'man tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim l'hiot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Sometimes freedom is this enormous concept, and sometimes it's just a moment. It's a breath, it's a look, it's a moment that's very small. And so as we turn to page 158 for Mi Chamocha, I'm grateful for our moments of freedom that are both very big and very small. Mi Chamocha, Elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha, Nedar bakodesh, Nora tehilot, O seifele, Nora tehilot, O seifele, Malchutecha, Rauvanecha, Mokeayam, Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Zeli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch, Adonai imloch, leolam va'ed. Lai, 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 lai.
We turn to Vishamru, our prayer that reminds us that we continually take care of Shabbat so that we can feel taken care of by Shabbat. We're on page 162.
V'shomeru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, leolam, ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim et haaretz u'vayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafal.
We rise in body and in spirit, and we turn to page 164 for the Amidah.
Ananana sifatai tiftach, Ananana ufi agid, ufi agid tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana sifatai tiftach, Ananana ufi agid, ufi agid tehilatecha, Ananana Adonai, Ananana sifatai tiftach, Ananana ufi agid, ufi agid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula livnei b'neihem leman shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rab Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim ravim, Zomech noflim verofech cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayim emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal givurot, Umido melach, melech meimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'neman atal hachayot hakol baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukroshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah baruch atah Adonai hakadosh.
In the End by Tara Moore. In the end, you won't be known for the things you did, or what you built, or what you said. You won't even be known for the love given or the heart saved, because in the end, you won't be known. You won't be asked by a vast creator full of light, what did you do to be known? You will be asked, did you know it? This place, this journey. What there is to know can't be written, something between the crispness of air and the glint in her eye and the texture of the orange peel. What you'll want 1,000 years from now is this, a memory that beats like a heart, a travel memory of what it was to walk here, alive and warm and textured within. Sweet brightness, aliveness, take me nowness, that is life. You are here to pay attention. That is enough. We take a moment now for quiet prayer and personal reflection, and when you're standing, if you're done, please be seated.
Say shalom, shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. I'm at the beginning on page 180. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
There are always so many ways to dedicate our Misha Berach or healing prayer. But this week in particular, I'm thinking of people who are on the East Coast and people in Canada who had to live through a week of smoke and difficulty breathing and weren't able to leave their homes in a cloud-filled sky. So I'm thinking of healing for them and of our relationship to our earth. If there are people you're thinking of who you want to say their name out loud and say, I'm thinking of you, please do so as I pass my hand around the room. We are on page 371 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body. And let us say, Amen.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. I'm wearing a mask this evening because I believe I have allergies, but you can never be too sure. And so I want to call now our wonderful students who graduated from the Introduction to Judaism class. Can we have our graduates of spring 2023 ascend the bima? Could we invite everybody who is in that Introduction to Judaism class? Oh my gosh, wonderful to see you. And I will say that as we invite you up here, I'll invite also all of our clergy here. And I'll say a few words to all of you, but I'll invite everybody in our congregation to rise in body and spirit. So please rise. And we'll invite you to gather around here a little bit. I'm doing this very awkwardly. I'm sorry. Here, come right over around here. So, wonderful graduates who are like, maybe we don't want to get that close. I get it. So let me just say this to all of you. I want to say that this is such a special time for our congregation. This is such a special time in your journey. And also, I'll say that this could not be a more beautiful time for us to recognize the wisdom that you have. So in this week's Torah portion, we hear about something extraordinary, where God tells Moses to choose 70 elders, to choose 70 people who could become leaders. And then what God explains to Moses that God will do is that God will take Ruach, will take spirit, and that God had put onto Moses and actually put it onto all of the 70 elders. So Rashi asks, what is going on here? And what he says is that what happens in that moment is that Moses is like a candle. And what happens then is that Moses then takes the other elders, and they're like other candles that get to be lit by Moses, and then nothing is diminished. Wisdom and spirit and God is actually in some ways magnified, amplified, spread without anything being diminished. And here's what I want to say to you. Because of this journey that you're on, because you've been able to learn from great teachers like these two, because you've been able to take in that wisdom, well, now you're going to become a Moses for someone else. That really this wisdom, this spirit, this knowledge, this excitement isn't supposed to be contained in you. You're supposed to share it now. And even as I look at you, I think about the ways in which you've shared it with us. So continue to share that light. Continue to share that wisdom. Continue to be a light in other people's lives because you've gone through this journey. And while you're graduating tonight, and we are so grateful for that, you continue to be both the student and teacher in all things in your lives, and we couldn't be more grateful. So I'll invite you now to ascend the bima, take your rightful place up here, where we stand below you. Yes, please ascend these stairs carefully and with holding on to the rail. I mean, look at this. Look at a grateful congregation, a grateful community, celebrating your wisdom, celebrating the treasures that you are, the true lights that you are to all of us. In this way, then, we invite everyone to put your hands up in blessing as we have the extraordinary blessing of blessing these graduates.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light and spirit continue to guide you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom.
May you continue to be wrapped in the deep spirit of meaning, of community, of God, and may it bring you a great sense of peace. And together we say,
Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov.
Siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu, siman tovu, mazel tovu, mazel tovu, siman tovu. Yeilanu. You deserve to be celebrated for surviving my classes.
And I will assure you that on your way out, there is a gift waiting for you. And if you'll see that Stacy Charnay is just right there in the back, and she is just so excited to give you a gift upon your graduation. We are so grateful to you. Please be seated. So one of my favorite authors who has written extraordinary books of literature is also a great essayist. His name is George Saunders. And George Saunders wrote an essay in 2007 called The Brain Dead Megaphone. Not my favorite title, but it's descriptive, right? So he tells this, in the essay, he explains that there's this person with a giant megaphone at a party. He uses this metaphor. And that person doesn't have much to say, but he's got a megaphone, so people are listening. And then he becomes the focal point of the party because he's so loud on this megaphone that he then becomes the collective intelligence of the party. It depends on his intelligence of this megaphone guy. Saunders describes it in this way. Imagine that the megaphone has two dials, one that controls the intelligence and another one that controls the volume. So ideally, the intelligence is turned way up and the volume might be turned down low. But that's not what's happening at the party. What's happening is that something has gone dead. Saunders says, what had gone dead was the curious part, the part that should have been helping us decide about morality and intelligence, but that's not what happened. Instead, the megaphone droned on and on through this megaphone guy, and the whole party devolved into a passive reaction to megaphone guy, a guy with a megaphone whose intelligence was on low, but whose volume was on high. The story was originally written in 2007, and 2007 was a different time. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok did not exist. Facebook was primarily used by college students and a smattering of high schoolers. No advertising on the internet. And the first iPhone came out that year, but it wasn't smart yet. It's debatable if it is now. 2007 was a different time, yet the story signaled to us the dangers of social media. The dangers that Surgeon General Vivek Murthy emphasized in the warning that he issued. Today, up to 95% of teens between the ages of 13 and 17 say they use some social media platform. And about a third say they engage with social media almost constantly. Now, research has shown that it's found that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media face double risk of experiencing poor mental health outcomes, including depression and anxiety. And how long do most teens spend on social media? 3 hours and 30 minutes a day, on average. Jean Twenge, a professor of psychology at San Diego State, said that teen depression started to rise around the year 2012, a time that coincides with the popularity of smartphones. Social media can be a very dumb and emotionally toxic megaphone. But Judaism has two very smart and spiritually healthy megaphones. You know one of them well, the shofar. We hear its call on Rosh Hashanah, awakening our spirit, telling us it's time to pay attention to a new beginning, a way to renew our spirit. And there are two megaphones that we hear about in our Torah portion this week that you might not know as well. They're made of silver. See, God tells Moses to have 2 silver trumpets made, and that they should serve to summon the whole community and set each tribe into motion. So if the trumpets are blown, everyone, if both of them are blown together, then everyone should know that they're going to listen for God's direction, and they should gather at the tent of meeting. Now, if just one is blown, then the tribal heads need to gather. Specific orders are assigned to each type of blast so that the community can act smart, connected to one another, more humane. And we hear about these extremes of times of danger and times of great joy in which these trumpets are blown. The whole congregation at the times that the trumpets are blown could feel connected and feel God's presence. The Torah tells us, "V'hayu lachem lezikaron lifnei Elohechem." They will be a remembrance for you that these times you are before God. And by giving us these two extremes, times of great danger and times of great joy, it seems as though the Torah is saying, in all of our experiences At all times, we should remember that this human enterprise, our days down to each hour, they're sacred, and they connect us to something larger. Each moment can ground us and make us feel inspired. Each moment can make us more loving and loved. So we have a choice in how we spend our time and how we encourage our youth to spend their time. Scrolling through social media, increasing our anxiety and feeling of isolation, or filling our time with pursuits that elevate us. Saunders recently reflected on his own essay from 2007. He said, look at your mind when you begin a Chekhov's story and when you finish it. What kind of things have been evoked? And then go on Twitter for 40 minutes, the same time it takes to read Chekhov, and see, where's your mind at then after 40 minutes on Twitter? He goes on, with social media, we're receiving stories in a different way. They're coming in faster, more staccato. They're malformed in their syntax because of the method of delivery. They're designed to agitate, to attract attention in this kind of strange way. So all these things are happening, and as those stories come in, we're not quite able to process them. A very dumb megaphone. Artist Teja Cole, who once used Twitter as an artistic form, tweeted, "Devastating information is coming at us at a rate we can't emotionally process." And soon after that, he vanished from the platform. But I don't think the answer is to get off of social media completely. And to be honest, even if that's what I would want for my kids and for myself and our future, I don't know that it's possible. I appreciate the regulations that some are proposing, but I don't think those regulations are going to solve this. Despite Marshall McLuhan's dictum that the medium is the message, I'd like to see if we can fill this medium with better messages, like body positivity. Body positivity like we see in Lizzo, who has over 13 million followers on Instagram. She shares positive messages constantly. Recently, she showed concert footage where she said, "We hear from the world every single day that we're not good enough. But the last person you need to hear it from is yourself." She explained how she got to this body positivity, and she said, "It's because I told myself and shared messages with myself of love every day." Yeah, and these crazy cool rabbis, Samantha Frank and our very own Rabbi Rena Singer on Modern Ritual on Instagram, they are breathing new life into ancient rituals with humor and accessibility and insight, inviting all of us to embrace ourselves and our faith in a very down-to-earth yet elevated way. We love you, Rabbi Singer. And we hear from Miriam Anzavin in her Daf reactions, where she's committed to actually doing Daf Yomi, reading a page of Talmud every day and then reacting to it, not in ways that she feels constrained to, ways that are honest and feminist. She sees the ways that our text invites us to argue and explore, how our ancient rabbis' questions are still sometimes chillingly relevant today, and they require our responses. Or Miriam Azagwi, she has 1.6 million followers on TikTok, and she thoughtfully answers questions and lovingly answers questions about her experiences as an Orthodox Jew. People can ask her anything, and she'll respond lovingly with kindness and with honesty. So I invite us to use this time of Shabbat to look at our minds, paying attention to what we want to consume. I'll say that for Saunders, it's Chekhov and Tolstoy and Dostoevsky and Toni Morrison and Grace Paley. They wake up things in him he wants to be active, more precise and intelligent and humane. For us, well, I'll invite us to this week's Torah portion, starting at Numbers chapter 10, with reminders to spread positive light with our lives, to listen for silver trumpets that call us to action and to care and concern, and warnings that we get in this week's Torah portion against hate speech and gossip, and awakening ourselves to God's presence, contributing to a world in which everyone can feel the blessed touch of a divine hand. So let's continue to use every megaphone at our fingertips to let each other know that we are good and loved.
Through your story is your fingerprint. In the valley there is confidence. In the shadow I will be your strength. I am good, you are loved. Through the chaos, I will be your joy. When you're finished, I have so much more. In the waiting, I'm an open door. I am good, you are loved. There'll be times when you're up and times when you're down. I'm never too far. Just look around and you'll find me. I'm by your side, arms open wide. I am good, you are loved. Oh, I am good, you are loved. If you forget, just lift your head. My banner over you is love. If you forget, just lift your head. My banner over you is love. If you forget, just lift your head. My banner over you is love. There'll be times when you're up and times when you're down. I'm never too far. Just look around, you'll find me. I'm by your side, arms open wide. We are good, we are loved. Oh, we are good, we are loved. Oh, we are good, we are loved.
I mean,
You're loved.
yes, so much so. We're good and we're loved, and of course we have a few announcements. Like if you want to feel that loving goodness through mindful Jewish aging, then join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It's going to be mixed presents. We're going to celebrate our 12th year anniversary. Can you believe it? The 12th birthday of mindful Jewish aging. So that's next year. And we also, if you want to feel loved and good from Macomb, can you tell us the two things that are going on?
Yes. So on Monday, June 12th, you can join the Macomb Book Club. They meet at Wild on Broadway, and they're reading The Boston Girl by Anita Diamant. So that is one way to get involved with Macomb, our 20s and 30s group. And the second way is a week from tonight, we have our annual Shabbat on the beach. So we're going to be meeting by the Waveland tennis courts and celebrating Shabbat and singing and eating tacos and drinking margaritas and praying. So
I mean, that is the way to pray.
It's going to be great.
And what we have here for solace for those of us who are no longer in our 20s and 30s, we've got birthday cake because we're celebrating our birthdays for the month of June next week. So, you know, there is that. Yes. Hopefully we'll get the Genovese bakery again. That cake was delicious. And I'll just also say that this Tuesday, June 13th at 6:30, we are going to have our 155th annual meeting. Nobody wants to miss that. You're going to hear about all the extraordinary things that we've been up to, all the ways that we're planning for the future. Helene Cohn, past president, can you attest? These are fascinating, wonderful annual meetings. Don't be thrown off by its title. It's really special. So I hope to see many of you there. That's also mixed presence. So again, this Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., I hope I'll see many of you there. And if not there, or even if there, we'd also like to see you Thursday, June 15th at 6:30 in person, a night at the El Dorado, a pride event at the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center. It's going to be such a special evening where we're going to learn more about Weimar era Berlin before the Nazis came to power. We are going to celebrate LGBTQ plus life, and we'll have 6 Chicago LGBTQ storytellers and DJ Strife. So please enjoy us for free signature cocktails and mocktails, food and celebration, storytelling, and learning. We look forward to all of that and more. We'll have the announcements on our QR code. If you just put your phone up to that, you can find out all you need about what's coming up in our very near future. And we're looking forward to all of that. We'll turn now to the bottom of page 586 for Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu. If you're standing, please be seated. So this week's Torah portion is called Ba'alotecha, which means to ascend, to have almost to have the priests kindle the lights of the menorah. But it's strange to have it Ba'alotecha versus to have it some variation of Lahadlik. That usually when you're talking about kindling, you say Lahadlik ner. We know this from our Shabbat candles and the way that we say the blessing there. So Rashi asks, why do we say Aleh? Why do we use the term to rise when we're talking about lighting the candles there. And what Rashi says, it's because the flame actually has to catch and bring more light. That it's not enough to just do the kindling. It has to be that that light then takes root on its own, and then it really takes and continues to shine on. And I think of this when I think about people who have passed from this earth, about how their light has taken in this world through their legacy, and the way in which then it continues to ascend. And I have to say, Cantor, when you sang that Shalom Aleichem tonight, and then you looked up right after you finished, and I just could see that there was this Carrie Ben David looking down and you guys winking at each other. I mean, that light certainly took shape, and it continues to shine out in the world. Thank God, because we love that Carrie Ben David. And so thank you, thank you. And so I know for many of us, there are people whom we remember whose light continues to ascend. It takes root here in this world. And so I know that for some of us, we're thinking of those who recently passed this earth, whose lights shine on, continue to ascend. Alan Simons and Burl Coven. And we also remember those people whose yard site we mark on this Shabbat. We celebrate their light. Nathan Ammond and Bernard Baum, Todd Becker, Melvin Dorfman, Natalie Fellman and Richard Fuhrer, Morris Glickstein and Harold Golub, Arnold Greenberg, Felix Greenthal, John Marshall Griffith, Alexander Grossfeld, William Hendel, Abe Hyman, Goldie Kaplan, Donald I. Kaufman, Morris Kirsch, Joyce Klein, Frida Cohen Kowalski, Marion Kroll, M. Martin Lane, Peter Matthew Letterman, Harry Levy, Sarah G. Levy, Michael Mashkis, Dennis Ervil Meadors, Rita Neuschatz, Beverly Ribbett, Patrice Arnstein Rosen, Charlotte Schwartz, Oscar Shavel, Tanya Antsis, sorry, let me say again, this is Tanya Antsis, Alexander Smolovsky, Gerald Stretton, and Marshall Tarr, Albert V. Hone, Miles Gordon Worty, Abraham Weinstein, Harry Weissman, John Werhane, Olive Werhane, Beatrice Soltzer, and Tom Wolfe. If there are others whom you are remembering on this Shabbat, I invite you, please share their name. Page 598, in body, in spirit, please rise. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei Rabam, v'yalma divorach yerutei v'yamlech malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'gala v'zman karev v'imru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabam mevorach le'olam u'lamei maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh Yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richum Ve'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata Da'miran v'yalma v'yimru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim V'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimru amen Oseh shalom b'mamav Hu ya'aseh shalom, alinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Hu ya'aseh shalom,
ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru.
Sydney Curran. Yes, Cantor Rabbi, wonderful Curran. Please would you ascend this bema with us, stand next to your cantor, our love, and sing with us the song with which we began the service, page 643, if you want to see the words for Hava Nashira. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Have a great week.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
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 Shabbat Shalom.